Thank you. So welcome everyone to the Economic and Industry Development Committee, number 11, last for 2021. You can see that everyone is in attendance. We don't have any apologies. There's no declarations of interest. No, and no business outstanding. So moving right along to item 1 on the agenda, which is the confirmation of minutes from the previous committee number from the 4th of November. I'll move that. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Madsen. Open that up for discussion. Nothing to discuss, so move on to the vote now. All those in favour? Councillor Kunzman, yep, so that's unanimous. And on to item number 2 now, which is the officers' reports. And looking at the Regional Development Australia, Ipswich and West Moreton Committee membership. The committee will need to nominate a councillor representative, and this can be done with a recommendation, obviously. So,
may I nominate, Chair, that you, as the Chair of the Economic and Industry Development Committee, that you be the best person for this?
I'll support that nomination and second that.
So, thank you,
So
and I welcome that.
the Mayor will be moving
Moving that the council nominee be myself
Yes.
Councillor Johnnick. Perfect.
as a Regional Development Australia member. So Mayor moves that and seconded by Councillor Fechner. Thank you. Opening up for discussion.
I think on the discussion, it's taken some time for RDA to get to us on this. We should have been on this probably last year. So it's great that they did write to us, and I think it's a great organisation, and I think that you'll do us proud like you normally do. Thank you.
Thank you, and I do really welcome this appointment. I think that it's going to fit into my committee role favourably, especially considering that we're looking at refreshing our economic development strategy at this point as well. So I'd love to get feedback and sentiment from right across the region. And I also have been stalking Reece Banks online too, so not in a weird way. But so I'm quite happy for that nomination to occur. So thank you very much. And any further commentary?
No.
No. So move to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. That's unanimous and carried. Now, item 3 is our small business growth program, which is very exciting. And it's all about building resilience and capability amongst our small business members for Ipswich. So a real carry on for our Small Business Friendly Council initiative. So the recommendation is that Council endorse the proposed small business growth program to increase the resilience and scale growth of local businesses through subsidised professional development. Can I get a mover for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Fechner. And a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Kunzelman. And does anyone want to speak to any council officers in relation to this agenda item? No? So happy to just move into discussion in relation to this program. Again, super excited that it is a kind of choose your own adventure for small businesses in Ipswich, which is really a great, and I thank the ECDev team for putting a bit of a spin on what can sometimes be a dull agenda, not for nerds like myself, but obviously business people are busy doing everything that they need to do, so they obviously hold a number of hats, so they don't measure their timesheets, I guess, so then to enable them to think outside the square and to grow, to become more resilient. Sometimes they just don't know where to turn to. A lot of their advisors are reactive, including accounting, and it's a time issue. So this program has 3 key measures. The first is getting e-commerce capability, so going online for small businesses and really helping them just through the Shopify program, which is is quite an easy system to use. And so I think that building that capability and guiding them through that process is going to have a significant difference for our community and business. The second is the Growth Accelerator Program through Growy, which is super, super exciting. So this is a strategy capability framework that our small businesses can choose to participate in and think outside of their business and look at their strategy and their next 10-year plan, I guess. And then the last professional development program is for people that have already got someone in mind, I guess, that they want to help take on their growth in small business. So I think it's a bit for everyone. And I really want to thank our city's chambers, so the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce and the Ipswich Chamber of Commerce and Industry for backing this and supporting us, because they want to be all on board with this as well. And it's not just about their members, it's Ipswich wide. But these are the type of things where I see the rubber hit the road for our small businesses, and doing things a little bit differently, and being a little bit innovative. So, yeah, thank you. Any further discussion? Yes?
Can you tell me if the Chambers of Commerce are getting this out to their members? Because I'm a member and I've not heard anything, and I've not heard anyone speak about it at chamber functions. I just wonder what their plan is for that.
I guess we've got to endorse it first as a program for them to kind of go out and spruik it. But
So they will be doing that actively.
Yeah. And so the letters of support are in our attachments as well, I guess, speaking to that. And I encourage chamber members as well as non-chamber members to get in touch with our ECDEV office, Business Ipswich website, to encourage participation if they're hearing about this and wanting to be involved.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Yes.
If I may, Chair, during budget deliberations early this year, there was a strong commitment by this council to ensure that we support our local businesses. And there's a number of different ways, but certainly the feedback we had from the chambers and businesses is this is the kind of support that they're wanting. And seeing the letters of support from the chambers is quite clear, and it covers several different angles, from the online to accelerating, to professional development. So really glad that this is getting out when it is, and hopefully, as we'll see what happens with COVID, but really pleased with the shape of this program.
Thank you, Mayor. Any further commentary, discussion?
I guess I just, my final comments around this would be the excitement about the community building that exists within these programs as well. Often small business owners don't get that time or opportunity to connect or hear from other small businesses, and you learn a lot in that networking. I mean, yes, that's what the Chamber of Commerce is about, and it's about networking and understanding each other's businesses and meeting more people. But if we can throw the net even wider and open this up, as we are, to the broader community of businesses within Ipswich, I think that's a wonderful thing, and there's going to be a lot of people who learn a lot in the rollout of this program, and I can't wait to see it.
Thank you, Councillor Fechner. Anything further to add? No. So moving to the vote, all those in favour? Thank you, and that's unanimous. And moving on to item number 4, which is our economic development update. So there was a report that provides economic activity updates showcasing key economic highlights for the past 6 months, and the recommendation that the report be received and contents noted. Can I get a mover for that? Thank you, Councillor Fechner. And seconder, going once. Thank you, Mayor Harding. And opening it up for discussion, or if there was anyone who wanted to speak to an officer about that.
I don't know, Chair, if you were going to speak to the paper or ask the council officer for it.
So I've got a few highlights that that I've been enabled to announce, and I thank the department. Thank you. So, economic development can't be spruiked, I guess, in every committee. There is a lot of confidential arrangements. You're dealing with a lot of organisations from private sectors to other governing bodies. So, when things are happening in the background, there's no fancy announcements that can be made, and sometimes it takes quite some time for those things to come to fruition and for us to be able to speak about it publicly. But I'm very, very proud of our department and the drive that we've had in the last 6 months in economic development. I did want to just speak to a few. And I'll just start with Rheinmetall because I rode in a tank a few weeks ago. So I just wanted to put that on the record. And the fact that there's key development there in potential funding that will open up new manufacturing capability for, this massive manufacturer in our own backyard. And that stems out to increased ability through welding and then TAFE courses that people can go through that, they get to this stage of advanced manufacturing. And so that's building people's skills and capability. And so we're investing and they're investing in business, but in our people as well. So that's a big one on the radar for the phase 3. I know Mayor, you would know a little bit more in relation to that, obviously, but I just got to do laps like 3 times in a tank. So, but on a serious note, there's a lot to be said for these defence primes in our own backyard, and then their offshoots to other subsidiary companies that manufacture small components for them. Like, it is a network, and it's something that we can't ignore, and that we can really use to lift the skills of our people in our city. So,
I too drove in a tank, which I never expected to do in my lifetime, I can tell you. I was very excited that Rheinmetall is getting together their own registered training organisation, and I think in terms of skills development that would be particularly useful.
Yeah.
Particularly around defence industries, obviously, but it'll spread out and have other benefits as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Kunzelman. There's heaps to recap. I'll just go to every kind of point briefly, but obviously the upgrades to our food truck systems with our Food Truck Friendly Council, thanks to Councillor Madson's motion. There's one operator in particular that used that, and he actually survived during COVID based on the ease of capability, I guess, he found in his industry. Our buy local push has been very successful, and our forward publishing of our procurement calendar as well can't be sneezed at. Then we've got the Operation Scale Up, which supported 24 businesses to improve their ability to enter the defence supply chain. So that was a pilot program. And I don't think the initial outcomes from that program, I think it shifted in a way, and a lot of networking was done there. So the outcome of that changed, but it was still really viable. So Small Business Month in May saw 500 local small businesses attend over 25 events across our city as well. We have distributed $264,000 to 195 businesses in COVID support funding. We launched our Business Ipswich website, a one-stop shop for all things business owners need to start or grow their businesses. And our partnerships with the chambers are going from strength to strength, which is evidenced by, their support for our growth program as well. So there's a lot going on. And I just wanted to highlight, sorry, just please indulge me. Other than what we've done kind of internally, externally, there's a lot happening in the commercial land. So JBS Dinmore is reinstating its third shift. So they stood down in the height of the pandemic, but their bounce back in the meat industry and return of 700 Ipswich jobs in the next 12 months is very, very significant. There's Ipswich Central real estate agents are reporting that the previous vacancy rate of 30% on commercial properties is significantly reducing. So I've seen that firsthand for myself, the lift in residential and commercial property within Ipswich. So there's a real change in prices and interest, I guess. And obviously Ipswich property developers, including Walker Corporation, Goodman Group, Springfield City Group, Sekasui House, are all reporting strong commercial, industrial and residential interest and transactions since the start of the financial year. So it's all happening in bits and pieces and stuff that can't be announced at the time that we kind of first cotton onto it. But there is a pipeline that is very, very confidential, and we've got people on it to concierge, businesses that are interested in our region, our awesome region. Thank you. Any further discussion? Sorry, Councillor Kunzelman.
I just want to thank you and the team for that report, which I found a very, very useful summary. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to just push that over to the team. Thank you. And Mayor Harding?
Thank you. I'm delighted that you enjoyed your ride in the Boxer, the combat reconnaissance vehicle. I can vouch for the fact they are more comfortable than the tanks I certainly rode in the 80s, without a doubt. And obviously, so important next year, the federal government will be making a decision on phase 3, and Rheinmetall's Lynx is a cut above. So it's very important that we do get that contract for the infantry fighting vehicle here. One thing that's been really great to see with the federal government is there's been a strong push in the tender for an increased Australian industry content, or AIC, you'll hear the Defence Primes talk about. It's been really pivotal to making sure that as much of that content of the machines, the technology is made here in Australia. So it's a big thing. The phase 3 will be much bigger than the Boxer, so that was about a $5 billion contract. The Lynx will be between an 18 to $27 billion contract. And as you know, the jobs are everything from design, administration, procurement, catering. There's a wide variety of jobs. And this week, the Air Force retired its Classic Hornets after 36 years of flying. So we know that when Defence does buy some kit, it usually does keep it for 30 years. So they are long-term, ongoing jobs to maintain and upgrade those pieces of kit. So it's great to see. I'm glad you got bitten by the defence bug and enjoyed your time in the tank.
Thank you. I guess anything that we can do to help that sovereign capability movement, I'm all for it. And I did have to wrestle Councillor Milligan away, and he had to jump in the back of the Boxer so I could take shotgun. But I hope he forgives me. Anyway, any further discussion?
No, I guess if I could just say on the paper, page 23, that says Yamanto Village, it should be Yamanto Central for that shopping centre.
Thank you for that correction, Mayor Harding. And on that note, I'll move for a vote. So all those in favour? So it's unanimous and carried. And that being the last item on our agenda, I will close the meeting off at 11:10 with the next meeting commencing in 10 minutes. Thank you very much.